I'm getting excited. Beautiful leaves. Who is this girl? Who am I? I don't know. I can hear it now. There are so many plants in here. So many plants. It's spring. Plants are growing. Birds are chirping. The sun is out. Not today, but sometimes it's out. And so I have a bunch of new plants to share with you. At first, I didn't think that I had enough that was worthy of a video. I wasn't going to film anything until I started counting them up. And I thought, wow, no, Stephanie, you do have enough to make an entire video. What exactly do I have today? I've got it written down. Just to be sure, I've got 2 Scindapsus, 3 Hoya, Pothos, 1 item for my outdoor plants. Well, not exactly outdoor, but 1 food related plant. I know you might be wondering, food related, what? Anthurium and a Monstera. I know, a Monstera. I know. So what should I do? Maybe I should just share it with you in the order that I have it written in. I didn't put them in any particular order. I just wrote them down as I remembered them. So to make life easy, let's just follow my frumpy list. So the first one on the list is Scindapsus, and as you know, this year I'm trying to get into Scindapsus a little bit more, and I have one for you that's the biggest plant in today's haul, and one that I have no idea what the name of it is, and one that I need to show a little bit more love. Let me get it for you. So this Scindapsus was given to me by my mom. Hers was, I think she just said it was just way too big, and so she just gave this to me, and she's like, here, you have it. And I was like, sure, I'll take it. And I have it in the inner part of a self-watering pot. Now, honestly, she gave this to me in a way better condition, maybe about 2 weeks ago. And I really hope she's not watching this video, but the chances are low because she watches all of my videos. Hi, mommy. And so, yeah, I haven't gotten to it, but I'm going to share it here, and then I'm going to be a good daughter and go and get this plant potted. But what kind of Scindapsus it is, I honestly am not sure, but I will have a name for you that I will insert on the screen. Like I said, given to me by my mom. She has multiples and they are huge and beautiful. If you're curious to see my mom's collection, I will put the thumbnail of her tour. I have multiple tours of my mom's collection, but this is the latest one. So feel free to check it out. I'll also link it down below so you can easily access it and just click on it. But I think it's about time. I think it's time we do another tour. Maybe I'll do another one next month or so. But a friend came over. She loves Scindapsus. She's amazing at growing them. And she took a look at this and she said that it seems like I may have 2 different kinds in one pot. So let's take a look. So this is one of them here. So 2 different vines, she says, possibly. This is one here. This is one of the vines. I'm not well versed in Scindapsus, not sure at all. But this is one of them. And I also gave her a few cuttings. So this was actually even bigger than this. And I gave her a couple cuttings of it. It is definitely, you know, it's big. My mom was generous. Yeah, so this is one of the 2 here. So this one has a lot of silver in the leaves, dark green, but not extremely dark, right? A little bit of silver. The silver splotches are a little bit on the smaller side, right? Then the other one, the other plant in here, I don't know, they look very similar. This is the second one here. I need to ask my mom. See, I think the reason she said that was because this one has so much more silver in it compared to the others. You see how much silver this has? So it very well could be, see this, these have larger chunks of silver versus the other ones are more splotches of silver. See the difference there? Yeah, I think I see it too. I think she might be onto something, but I've got to ask my mom. But most likely it could be from the same plant and she just stuck it back in, or she does buy quite a few Scindapsus, so I wouldn't be surprised if she bought a bunch of plants and then sort of crossed them all in one pot, because Scindapsus can look quite similar. But anyways, that's this guy. So it's a little bit of a cheat. I do have a much, like I am starting with a super big plant, But now that I'm showing it to you and I'm really taking a moment to admire its beauty, I'm getting excited. I'm very happy. So thank you so much, mommy, for this plant. And it's time. It needs to be repotted. It's in this so rooted, and that's the one thing I don't like about Scindapsus. They push out a lot of roots, and so they get root bound pretty quickly. Like, look at all of the roots in here. Can you see it up here? They've got it's so heavy on the roots, so I need to unpot it and check it out. But that's plant number 1, the biggest one of the lot. I'm gonna pop it down behind me, and it needs to get its permanent home. All of that needs to be done most likely on Patreon or on my YouTube membership. That's where I'll be doing the repotting of the new plants if any of them get repotted. That's where I'm most likely to do my plant chores videos. If you like seeing that kind of stuff, you may want to join my YouTube memberships or my Patreon. They get mostly the same videos, and that's where I put on additional content for people who like my videos a lot. All right, so plant number 2 is a variegated Scindapsus. I know. I think these are the only 2 freebies in this haul. Yeah, the only 2 free plants. But this is from someone that I usually buy a lot of my plants from, and she texted me and was like, hey, do you want this Scindapsus? It's reverting. She was sick and tired of it, and I was like, sure. I think some of the plant people in my community sort of know me already as the one that I will take the plants that they're frustrated with, especially if they're uncommon or rare. So this is supposed to be a variegated Scindapsus. It's not very variegated. I'm just gonna pull up the text message from her to get exactly what kind of Scindapsus it is. This is from Monica. So thanks, Monica, for the plant. Scindapsus mayari, low variegation. Let's see. This is how she gave it to me, and got the 2 plants, the 2 Scindapsus. In one day, I got 2 different types of Scindapsus. I got them at the same time, and I just haven't had the moment to really take them out and put them in the substrates that I think they might thrive in. I'm not the best with Scindapsus. It hasn't quite been giving her, I guess, the variegation it used to have, but we have just a tiny bit of variegation right here. Look at that. So we see the potential of this plant. And yeah, and if you turn it around on the back, you know, sometimes on the backs of variegated leaves, you can see a little bit more of the possibilities. That's it here. So she gave it to me in like this takeaway tray with paper towel at the bottom, and this tray is fantastic. It's really keeping up the humidity in here, so it's been rooting nicely. So that's one cutting, and she gave me another one. This one doesn't have any of the white on it. The one that I showed you with the white is the only one that has that amount of white on it. And then the other one is this one. The other leaf cutting is this guy. This is another one of the leaves, super pretty. And then she gave me a vine, and the vine actually, shockingly, has been rooting up. So take a look. Let me try to not drop everything, but the vine has been actually pushing out some new leaves. Like, look right here. There's this leaf here, and it has roots inside. See? So it is doing well, sticking itself inside of the paper towel. So I'm pretty happy. Thanks, Monica. I'm pretty excited as to what's gonna happen, the future of these little guys. Clearly, they're loving the higher humidity. I have them on the floor in my south window for now, but I think I'm gonna start moving them over. After this video, I'm gonna maybe do a little bit of research to see the best way to grow them, because I really do want to take really great care of them, because you never know, it could give me some more of that variegation. That's it. So I'm pretty excited about this. And of course, I should have already put up pictures of nicely variegated one that's behaving, what it can look like. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited because I definitely said I wanted to get more into Scindapsus this year. I wanted to get into just a couple. I know Scindapsus can look very similar, but I just wanted to get a few that look different enough so that I can have some of these beautiful, lush, cascading plants. Like, Oh, my mom, my friend has some beautiful Scindapsus plants, and I wanna get some of those. So next on our list is 3 Hoya. So let's take a look. What should we start with? First on the list is a repurchase, one that I've had before, but I've dearly and sadly lost. It makes me really sad. Remember this? This is the Hoya Monaloa. So basically, this is a Hoya compacta in a variegated. I got this, the first one I ever had, in the fall of last year, maybe early fall, like September or so, and it looked nicer than this one. The leaves were bigger. This one is definitely a lot more juvenile. The leaves are smaller, but the other one had fewer leaves, but the leaves were bigger and the variegation was stunning. And I put it into self-watering. It just tanked. It did not do well. So this one is one that I'm going to learn my lesson with. I'm going to keep it in higher humidity. I'm going to keep it really steady under the grow lights. And that's what I'm going to do. Usually I am one for repotting plants very soon after they come into my collection. But for the Hoya, especially the compactas and slower growing ones, I think I'm going to let them settle in a little bit more, maybe like take a long time. Basically, I'm not going to repot them, at least not this one, not until it has fully outgrown this tiny little pot. It's going to be tricky because it's sort of hard to know when to water it because this is not my substrate. I'm not very familiar with it, but when I feel it, I'm going to learn it and try to figure it out. Watered it one time since I've had it, which has been, I think I've had it for a week and a half now. When I got it, it was very light. So I gave it a little bit of water and then that's it. I don't see any water at the bottom here, but it still feels medium, like a little bit heavy still. So I'm just going to do that. But anyways, again, the Monaloa is the inner variegated ones. So the variegation is on the inside. And this is one of 2 compactas that I have, actually one of 3. But let me show you the next one. It'll make a little bit more sense. The next Hoya that I have is also a Hoya compacta. And I have it here with a sachet of beneficials in here. I'm just going to pop it out. But yes, so this is a Hoya compacta variegated, and this is the outer variegated. I know, who needs 2 Hoya compactas? I went from not wanting Hoya compactas to now owning 3 Hoya compactas and 2 of the same kind. Who is this girl? Who am I? I don't know. I can hear it now. The second time I'm purchasing the Hoya compacta. Purchased the first one in March, and when I got it, not long after, I repotted it. I think I did it on camera or maybe for my Patreon members. I had it first in under a sans sea light. It wasn't doing anything. It didn't seem like it was rooting up. So I put it in direct sunlight. It didn't do anything. I know that the compactas are really slow. I know, I can hear myself. I know I'm expecting a lot from a plant that is just usually slow, and it's also variegated. So it's going to be even slower. I was panicking a little bit because it was starting to lose plants. So there were 3 plants in it, and I think I lost 1 of the 3 plants. And I was just like, no. I want a full compacta. I want a nice big compacta with lots of vines, and I will pay the money to get myself another one, but I'm going to grow this separate from the other one that I have. I'm going to treat them like my Heuchkelianas, where I'm going to have a backup of it and I'm going to grow them. And then when they're really established, long vines, and they're ready to be repotted, and then I'm going to merge them together. And at that point, I think I would have learned what I need to learn from the plant. Because it's a Hoya, I cannot assume that I already know the needs of a compacta, because it's already a lot slower than a lot of the other Hoya in my collection. The care is going to be different. Obviously, the needs are going to be just a little bit different from the regular Hoya. I need to keep that in mind, so I'm learning on these plants. Anyways, if you have tips for me, leave the compacta tips that you have down below. But again, this is another one of inner variegated. I love this one, and I don't know, I want to say I love it a little bit more than the other one that I have. Like, it has like a nicely sun-stressed brand new leaf here. I feel like it has even a little bit more variegation. than the other one. I don't know, but I really like it. And what I love about the Hoya compacta, even the outer variegated, a lot of Hoya are like that. Even the Hoya carnosa crimson queen, even if they're just the outer variegated ones, they sometimes give you these elbow leaves, these pure all white, all cream leaves, even if they're just the outer variegated. Sometimes not even the inner variegated ones, plants do that. I'm excited, and it has a cute little growth point right here. I don't think you'll be able to see it. It's really sunken in here. But great news is that my other compacta is pushing out new growth. Finally, I put it under my Sansi lights, like right under the Sansi lights, and make sure I refresh its reservoir. It likes to get a little freshened up, even if there's still water in the reservoir. That one really likes that, you know, apart from my other Hoya, like it really, really appreciates that. And the reason that I have the sachet of beneficials is, yes, it's in the pot. Who is this girl not repotting? But I'm gonna keep it in here once again, just to be on the safe side. Last time we found Gary. Gary is a slug that I found in my last Hoya compacta that I got. And, you know, it's very likely that there could be another one in here. Ew. But nothing has crawled out for now. And hopefully my beneficials will attack anything that crawls out. Probably not a slug, but I just wanted to pop in to ask, how are you enjoying 30 Days of Hoya? I'm getting a lot of comments. It seems like a lot of you are enjoying that. Thank you so much for showing that series some love. If you like it, I'm happy to let you know that when 30 Days of Hoya ends, I actually will have a video that's sort of like the grand finale of 30 Days of Hoya. I will be talking about every single plant that I showed in 30 Days of Hoya. I'll go into a little bit more detail, giving you pictures of how it looked when I first got them, the substrates they're in, and also a little bit more detail on how they're growing for me and the history that I've had with that plant, everything that I know about each one. So you might want to tune in for that video. It might be after this one or maybe a few videos from now, but the best way to not miss that video is to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you will get notified when I release new videos. All right, let's go. Okay, the next Hoya. This one was one that I got in a trade. This is a Hoya polyneura. I think it's just called an elbow, but specifically it's the outer variegated. And this is one that I'm excited to have. I didn't always want this plant, but I think after I got my Brogay, and that one, mine is sort of suffering a little bit, I decided to get this because I really want to have a polyneura in my collection, and my Brogay is going south. So I know that I have a leaf yellowing here, but that's okay. It's not ready to come off here, but there are 2 new leaves coming out at the top. So yeah, so it's a trade with a grower in my community or in my area. They wanted some philodendron, so I gave them some philodendron. And so I was able to get this Hoya from them. They had it growing in, what's it? I think it was purely leca and some pumice when I first got it. I added some of my DIY pond to it and just popped it in here in the self-watering pot. I'm blasting it with light under my grow lights because, again, with Hoya, especially the delicate fine-leafed, fine-stemmed Hoya, I find that when they sense that they've been repotted or there's been a shift in their environment, like especially in their root system, they will panic just a little bit. They'll start to get these really soft leaves and they'll be unhappy. They'll start to drop leaves. This leaf was already yellowing when I got it, so I can expect at least 1 extra leaf to yellow and go south. I can see one is already starting to do that. Like this one, just a tiny little bit, but not a whole lot. But anyways, love the variegation, and I'm hoping that with more light, it'll trigger even higher variegation in the leaves. Although I don't think the Hoya polyneura is a difficult Hoya, but because it is a fine, like a thin-leafed, fine-stemmed Hoya, they are a little bit tricky for me. The smaller Hoya, the ones that are less succulent, like the Bellas and the polyneura and the lacunosas, I always find these Hoya harder for me to care for because they're not as resilient as maybe the latifolias and the you know, some of the other Hoya, the globulosas, these are just a lot more hardy. Definitely, I'm trying to learn them and trying to find my balance of hydration and light. The polyneuras can also bleach. Yeah, again, getting that balance will be tricky. I think the Sansi lights may be a bit too much for them. So I think Barinas are a bit softer and not as aggressive. And so I'm going to keep them under Barina lights, but that's it. That's it. I'm glad once again, it hasn't dropped those new baby leaves. But anyways, in self-watering as usual. And yeah, that's a new one. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. I really hope I don't lose it. Next on the list is a Pothos. And if you follow me, you might know which Pothos that is. Do you remember what happened with my last one? Let me show you. So my beloved neon Pothos took a nosedive when I went on vacation, and it is one of my favorite plants in my collection. I would say like anything neon related is definitely in my top 10. If I had to pick 2 Pothos to keep in my collection, this would be one of the 2 Pothos that I would keep in my collection. I lost my last one. I think what's left is literally one node that's growing in water currently, and I'm not sure, even if that makes it, I'm not sure of the health of that plant, that cutting, I should say. I'm not sure it will be a big booming plant. It's not it doesn't strike me as healthy. So I decided to just get myself another one. And my nursery, they had the trip before the last one, they had these, but they weren't up to my preference. They were a little bit picked through. They weren't yet the quality that I was looking for. And so I waited. And then last week I went with my friend, and because she was in town and she wanted to go to Heuman's, I went, and they had a beautiful, beautiful fresh batch of Pothos. I got this neon Pothos, $10. I think this is a great price. Of course, I'd always like love a lower price, but this was fair to me. This is fair. It has a gajillion. Like seriously, look at how many cuttings there are in there. There are so many plants in here. So many plants. Success is, you know, I have a higher chances of success. It's just here for now, and it needs to be repotted, but I'm sharing it with you and put it in my homemade mix with soil and just a couple elements to make it chunkier. Yeah, this is a staple, one that I love having in my collection, and one of my favorite Pothos. If you know me well as well, I'm sure you also already know which one's my other favorite Pothos. But the neon leaves, I mean, yellow is my favorite color. Of course, I need to have neon plants in my collection. Of course. Beautiful. And I'm excited. So now that I've shared it with you, it's time for me to send it to its forever space in my home. And I need to figure out where that is. So this is called, like according to them, it's a bay laurel plant. In the Caribbean, at least where I live, we just call it a bay leaf plant. And bay leaf is it a herb? Yes, it is a herb that we will put into teas and soups, almost anything. We'll put it in there to give it a little, like a strong flavor. And I couldn't even describe to you the flavor that this has. Probably would need to Google it to get like some nice descriptive terms. But when I was growing up in the Caribbean, this used to grow almost wild where I lived, and there used to be one growing near our house, and my mom would send me into the bushes to go and find one. You wouldn't believe how many times I picked the wrong leaves, the wrong plants, and brought it back to her, and of course I'd be sent back to go and find it. And then I remembered it. Bay leaf plant, let's see. So a lot of times we also use them dried in the Caribbean, but yes, so I was going to use the word pungent. Google agrees with me. So it has a pungent, sharp, bitter taste. And yeah, it's considered a spice, but it's quite fragrant. And when it's dried, the aroma is more floral, and it's somewhat similar to oregano and thyme. So that's what's being described here. And yes, I do agree with that. I do agree that it's a very strong taste, but I guess for me, because I'm used to it, because I grew up with it, I'm accustomed to the taste. But I do think it's worth a try. Like bend the leaf. Oh my goodness. It smells so good. So good. It's the best scent. I'm from St. Lucia. We would put this in cocoa tea. So basically what you'd call hot chocolate, but we would get cocoa sticks. So chocolate is from the cocoa bean, process them and make them into cocoa sticks. And we would put that into hot water and make hot chocolate basically from it. And we would put some bay leaf or dried bay leaves into it, and it would just spike that flavor up so much, and it'd be so good. This is just bringing back the most amazing memories. I know I have a lot of Caribbean people who watch my videos, so I know you know what I'm saying. I know you know what I'm saying. But anyways, if you don't, if you ever see this plant, consider getting it and adding it in some of your recipes and some of your teas, etc. And maybe you already know about this plant, but anyways, tell me how you use it in the comment section down below. So that is that, and I'm going to be keeping it indoors, so that also needs to be repotted. I'm going to put it into like a nursery pot. I'm going to put it in a pot that it's going to live in. It's going to stay indoors. I might for the summer like poke it outside every once in a while so you can get some rainwater and some nice sunlight from outside, but I want it to stay alive all year round, and I want to have it in my home, so I want it to get nice and big, so it's gonna stay inside. Next plant on the list is one that I have two little babies of, and I buy a lot of my plants from a seller called Tia. She lives in Canada, in Ontario. She's on Facebook. I've linked her before in my videos, and I made an order with her, and I was waiting to have a chance when I was in her area to pick it up, and it was like a month and I just wasn't getting into her area. So I sent her the funds to mail it to me, picked a day, and the day before she was supposed to mail it, my friend was 5 minutes away from her and was coming to my house. So I was like, hey, would you mind just stopping by and picking up these plants for me? And my friend, being amazing and also a fellow plant lover, she was like, of course. So she went and picked it up for me, and she also got herself a couple of plants. She actually got herself some variegated Scindapsus. So I had already paid for the shipping, so Tia sent me these little guys for the cost of what I was paying to have the plants shipped. So these are seedlings. These are Anthurium seedlings, and I remember before I was into Anthurium, I was like, oh, don't show me seedlings, I want to see real plants. But here I am showing you Anthurium seedlings. So these are Anthurium KOS, King of Spades. Oh, so I thought they were Ace of Spades. So they're Anthurium King of Spades crossed with FSRL, Papillilaminum, Fort Sherman crossed with Ralph Linum. That's what these little guys are. So that's this little guy. Of course, you can't see any of the characteristics as yet, but it's definitely going to take a little time for them to grow and mature, but that's what they look like here. So I'm excited to have these two little guys. She happily put them into two separate little cups instead of putting them into one. That helps me a whole lot, because then I could just keep them like this until they're a lot bigger and ready to be up potted. So the first one is Anthurium King of Spades. King of Spades is typically like a wider leafed Anthurium. I find whenever I look at it, that's what I imagine. It's a bit broader leafed, and I find that sometimes it's hard to get a true picture of a King of Spades, but in some of the pictures that I've seen, when they emerge, they're quite dark when they're juvenile. They've got really pronounced veins and like this dark red color. I'm looking at a picture here as well, and these really pronounced pink reddish veins. At least that's on the picture that I'm looking at. I just want to get more Anthurium. I just want to try more Anthurium, and she has some really unique crosses. She has some really nice pairings, at least what I like. You know, some of the looks that I like in Anthurium. That's it. I'm looking forward to when they start to mature and when they get a little bit bigger. We'll see what they look like. And I've got two. We'll see what they look like. But this one already has a little bit more of the pronounced veins in here. It looks more King of Spades. And this one, okay, I guess this one is also wide. It's also quite broad in the leaves, but the veins aren't as pronounced. So I don't know, I'm already having good feelings about this one here. So we will see. So the last plant in today's video, and I've said so much, I've talked so much, is this one. And this is Monstera aurea. I'm sorry, I was gonna say albo. Monstera aurea. I think when I got the, what's it called? When I got the Alocasia aurea, I realized how much I really love aurea plants. And I asked her if, and I say her, I got it from Tia, the same person that I got the compacta monoloa and the 2 Anthurium you just saw. I asked her if the aurea is a hard plant to grow, and she said if you can grow a Thai constellation, you can grow an aurea. And I'm just like, Thai constellations? That's so easy. Yes, of course. And so I'm excited about this little guy. Not quite sure about it in this substrate and in this pot, because again, this is her medium. This is what she knows. This is what works in her environment. Growing in this mix, it has perlite, coconut husks in it. It looks like it may have tree fern fiber. No, it just looks like perlite and coconut husks, and maybe a little bit of something else. Not quite sure. I am going to have to repot this and put it into a self-watering pot, because that's how I like my Monsteras, if they can fit in them. But when they outgrow it, I just put it in a very, very chunky soilless mix, and that works really, really well. I do find the Taikon resilient. I talk about it, I believe, in the video you would have seen before this video. That's it here. I'm looking to see if it's pushing out a new leaf. I can see something trying to happen, but nothing's happening just yet. But look at these leaves, these beautiful leaves. I know it's still quite juvenile, and we love Monstera because of the fenestrations they can have, but seriously, like when you have this look to it, oh, fenestration what? And I guess this leaf here melted off and she may have cut it, but that's okay. I'm excited. I'm happy about it. And I have talked a lot today. We had a very chatty video, but I had a lot to say about some of these plants that were entering my collection. Thank you so much for watching this sort of moody plant haul video. Trying to work with the light outside, trying to create some light in here, and it's just getting darker and darker the longer I talk. I wanted you to see these plants under natural light. I didn't want to use too much filming lights. I really wanted you to see it with the light from outside. So hopefully that was clear for you to see. Thanks again for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one.